You know, AI has become a big topic of conversation around entertainment. As a matter of fact, just recently, they had when they were talking about AI, they were in the studio. That's it, the studio. When they were talking about the new Kool-Aid movie, they had that whole episode where somebody said, "You're going to use AI," and it got everybody mad. Well, now it's coming into the real world, as it has been already. But now we know that Netflix has just come out. They've got that hit foreign film, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it, the Eternaut. That's become a big hit on this platform. And Netflix is now admitting that they use generative AI to do some of the visual effects in it. The Eternaut's team, it says, generated a scene of building collapsing with AI. It goes on to say this. Netflix used generative AI to create a scene in the sci-fi series The Eternaut, a first for one of the streamer's original shows or films. During an earnings call on Thursday, Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos said that the use of AI was faster than using traditional visual effects tools and helped cut costs. That VFX sequence was completed 10 times faster than it could have been completed with traditional VFX tools and workflows, Sarandos said during the call. Also, the cost of it just wouldn't have been feasible for a show of this budget. Okay. So if you remember correctly, that whole the whole scene in the studio when they were talking about the Kool-Aid movie and talking about AI, and at one point the woman stands up and she's completely upset and completely outraged about the whole thing, and she accuses the things, and everybody in the studio gets upset and they get mad at the studio, right? So how do we feel about this in the real world? Because I've already seen a whole bunch of people really mad, really upset. Or to put it in the words of Ice Cube, as King Daddy says in the chat, that's some bullshit. Some people I'm seeing some people online who are really, really mad about it. And I get it. This is a very delicate time. AI is taking a lot of jobs. As a matter of fact, I just watched a news report talking about how they're thinking about 30 to 35% of entry-level white-collar jobs, so the types of jobs that college grads and university grads are getting when they come out, they're saying about 30 to 35% of those jobs are going to be eliminated within the next 3 to 5 years just because of AI. There's been a lot of discussion about whether music that's been generated with AI should be allowed in films. Obviously, things about visual effects using it in there. And it's a big question. Now, Netflix CEO is saying, listen, we were able to finish these shots 10 times faster, and it cost us, and he said it was cheaper than traditional workflows. The translation of that is we didn't have to pay anybody to do it. And Rob, I got to tell you, I feel kind of torn about it. I feel a little bit torn about it because, I brought this up as an example the other day, and it's kind of far removed, but it's still true. In olden times, like my parents' as teenagers' days, you wanted to make a call. Well, you connected to the operator. You told the operator who you needed to be connected to, and the operator, remember, see all those old movies where you got like dozens and dozens of operators, connecting your calls. Well, modern technology came around and those operators are all out of work. Rob, when's the last time you dialed 0 to talk to the operator?
A long time ago, John.
I can't remember. I literally have a neighbor up the street who I went out and I saw that he was using one of those EcoFlow lawnmower machines where it's kind of like a Roomba, but it's for your lawn. You just put it on your lawn and it figures out the exact dimensions of your lawn, and it will automatically, once or twice a week, go out and mow your lawn. Well, that guy used to use a lawn care guy. He used to have a lawn care guy come by once a week. Now that lawn care guy doesn't have at least this contract. So this is an example of technology took it over. Do we as a public have a problem with my neighbor using an automated lawn mowing machine that took the job of somebody else. And Rob, if we say no, we don't have a problem with it. If we say that, then why is it okay for us to take advantage of technology that allows us to cut out paying services that we might have paid other people to do, but the technology helps us now and we use it? Why is it okay then for us to do that, but then we get very, righteous and whatever when somebody else is doing it, in this case, the studios? I mean, hell, Rob, there was an argument made when CG animation and visual effects were coming around that, certain things were taking the jobs, certain visual effects were taking the jobs of stuntmen. Certain visual effects were taking away the jobs of set construction people who used to build things specifically for visual effects. And now those are gone. Rob, that Lucasfilm or Skywalker Ranch, what's the ILM? That ILM documentary series that was on. When we see them make the original Star Wars, it was teams and teams of people building these intricate models and creating new camera techniques. Now a kid can sit down with a visual effects program and just make that all up. But we don't have an outcry about how now one guy can do the job of 7 guys. So on the one hand, I feel like anything that takes away jobs from the movie industry is bad. But on the other hand, I feel like we all do it, and it's just part of the advancement of technology. So I'm not quite sure exactly how I feel about it, Rob. Anyway, you hear about this. This is the first time Netflix has done it. It won't be the last. And they're not going to be the only studio to do it. So I'm curious, as somebody who has worked in film as long as you have, what's your thoughts on all this?
Well, I would suggest, whether you like him or not, everybody should go watch the press conference that Elon Musk did about Grok 4, their brand new generative AI that they just released, which is astonishing, but everything that it can do. And we now live in an entirely different world. And Netflix using generative AI to make a couple of effect shots of a building blowing up or crashing down. The ship sailed. The new world is here. And we're going to have to get used to it. We're going to have to get, as much as I want people to not be out of work, the fact is this technology is here and it's not going anywhere. The real question is, are we as a race, is the human race, the one race of human beings that live on this planet, are we going to set up guardrails? And what's really important to us? Like, for instance, are we going to use only scripts that are written by real writers? Because the thing is, generative AI has learned on all the previous things that have been made by people. And now it's just mixing and matching everything. But if that's the case, how are we going to get anything new? And I think what's going to happen is all of our art is going to become, in a way, artisanal. It's all going to be, this was made entirely by human hands or with human imagination. The problem is, when you're making a TV show and you want to have buildings blow up, but you don't have the effects budget to do it, why not avail yourselves of generative AI? I mean, the question is, you can't put it back in the bottle. The genie is out. And in another, watch the press conference about Grok 4, and you'll see it's affecting every aspect of human endeavor. Everything from education to medicine to finance to law. It's here, and it is not going away. And we're going to have to figure out how to live in a bold new world, because all it's going to do is continue on. I watched a Star Wars short yesterday of Luke Skywalker meeting, not Darth Malgus, Darth Revan, maybe?
Probably Revan.
It was unbelievable. The Luke looked way better than the Luke looked in Mandalorian. And the voices and the simulate, it was incredible. And one kid did this. It was on some Star Wars channel. I put it on my Facebook page. What's going to happen in 2 years when people are generating entire Star Wars movies overnight, and they're going to be better than what we've been getting from Disney? We're going to have to deal with that world, and I don't know how people are going to deal with it. All I'm looking forward to is making the Star Trek TV series that I want to watch. In all seriousness, I don't know. Once you figure out how to make coverage, like, so you can get the shots between characters, and all of that is coming. And in a way, we're going to have people, you're going to have a 12-year-old girl will be able to make her own Zelda movie. And people are going to get very adept with this technology very, very quickly. I don't know
All
what's
right,
going to
guys.
happen.
Question is for you. How do you feel about this? I mean, Netflix is not high. They came right out. They didn't need the Kool-Aid man to bust them. They just came out and said, we used generative AI to make this big visual effects shot of this building collapsing instead of the traditional. The traditional way is to blow up a building. The next gen way was to use visual effects artists to make it happen. And now they're just putting in a prompt and making it happen. But they said they were able to make it 10 times faster. They said they were able to make it cheaper. And I don't even know, Rob, if people watching it even realized they were watching an AI generated building being blown up.
No, because there's ways you can treat that stuff so you'd never know it was AI generated. You can add some smoke effects, particle effects, do whatever you want to mess it up, change the color timing. I mean, we're there. You look at some of those images Grok 4 are making, indistinguishable from reality. It's insane. Insane.
So, guys, what do you think? Should we be mad at Netflix for doing that? Or is it just the natural progression of technology and we got to adapt to it? I don't know. However, this is a much bigger issue for us to talk about in just a few minutes, but I'm sure we'll talk about it again. But for now, how do you feel about the situation with Netflix? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.